It's either you're selling or you're being sold.
You're selling or you're being sold. So yeah, you gotta learn to love sales and learn how to sell. And that's, I mean, if you're talking about dropping out of school, you're not gonna learn that in school. Like, you gotta learn how to sell. You gotta learn how to talk to people. And you just discussed knowing yourself and recognizing that in other people. That's part of sales. Interacting with somebody else, speaking, and laying out your product and asking for a sale. Scary as hell when you're first starting, but you got to learn how to do it, because there's no money if there's no transaction.
Exactly.
Transaction involves sales. You got to sell a product or a service and there's a movement of funds.
Yeah.
Or there's a barter or something, but you have to sell yourself.
Yeah, totally. And you know what's so funny is that sales is, for some reason, looked down upon.
Yeah.
If you're like a white collar, person, or you're in university or whatever it is. I mean, even me, like before I turned maybe 18, 19 years old, I never considered sales. I was just like, I do not want to be selling people stuff. Like, that's not me at all. Like, I do not want to be that guy, that sleazy guy. And there's this whole stigma about sales.
Yeah, sleazy sales.
I know. But you know what? It's freaking one of the most important jobs in the world.
Oh, of course.
There's a saying that says money makes the world go round. Sales makes the world go round.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what job you have. There has to be some sort of sale happening.
Yeah, there is. Always.
Someone has to be buying something for you to be employed, to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
There is no customer service without sales. There is no marketing without sales. There is no accounting without sales. There's no freaking anything.
There's nothing without an
sales.
actual product or service that's getting sold. There has to be that movement, that transaction, that transfer of a product, service, something for funds, for money.
And there's something to be said about the sales profession, because when you're put in a situation where you have zero income and the only income you can make is on every sale that you make, you are under that much you don't have the steady income of a regular salary, and you're forced to use your wit, to use your head and try and make that money and work at it and do it yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're out there on the freaking street, you're pounding the pavements, you're shaking hands, you're kissing ass, you're making stuff happen so you can make that freaking cheddar.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the, I mean, going out of college, if you just want a job to learn how to sell, that is a great job to get, is a sales job.
I tell my cousin, she's like 16 years old, I say, whatever you do, the first thing you should learn is how to sell. It doesn't matter. Like, I say that to her as often as possible, just to get it into her head that you have to learn how to sell.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to be selling yourself. Even if you're not going to be in business, it's going to be one of the most important skills that you have.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you ever want to get a job, you are going to have to learn how to sell yourself. I mean, even if you just want to be an employee, you got to learn how to sell yourself.
And how do you sell yourself if you don't know yourself?
Yeah.
So you got to know yourself first, because your strategy of selling is going to be different than someone else's strategy of selling.
Yeah.
Whereas someone might be just completely direct, you might be someone who builds a relationship slowly and adds value and then starts doing the sale.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what you're selling too. So, but I say, if you're going to be in business for yourself, you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have that confidence in yourself that no matter what happens, you can lose your entire business. You can fail, but it doesn't matter. You can get back up.
Yeah.
Because you know how to sell.
Because you know how to sell.
You know
Absolutely.
How to stimulate and generate revenue.
Any country, in any city, in any part of the world, and if you know how to sell, you will be able to find a way to survive.